Hello, everyone. Welcome to the September edition of Cybersonic. Here is where we decode the terminologies of cybersecurity and, through our guest, help understand what the sphere of cybersecurity is and how can one be a essential part of this entire ecosystem. So today we have with us is Ankita Kaw, who is an data privacy and information security professional, the postgraduate degree from the Government of Engineering College, over 12 years of experience in information security management systems and data privacy regulations like GDPR. So welcome, Ankita. Welcome to the September edition of Cybersonic. In Cybersonic, we usually decode a lot of terminologies into the world of cybersecurity and help our guests understand cybersecurity as a term in a very simplified way. So, thank you so much for being on the webinar today.
Thank you, Anaga, for inviting me.
Yes.
I'm very happy to have a conversation, light-hearted chat with you.
Yes. So, Ankita, could you just introduce yourself for our guest today? Just tell us a little about what exactly you have contributed to the world of cybersecurity till date.
Well, contribution is a very heavy word, I would say. But what I have done till so far in
Yeah.
my journey with cybersecurity, well, it has been almost more than a decade. I have been associated with uh, InfoSec and now
Okay.
data privacy as well.
Perfect.
So in my professional journey, I have embraced a multitude of roles. I
Okay.
would call myself,
Mhm.
very fortunate that I got opportunities. I have donned multiple hats, like right from a compliance and governance person to an auditor and an advisory consultant. So I have had the privilege to work with multiple companies. And when I say multiple companies, it's not only that multiple companies
Mhm.
per se, like I have switched so many jobs, but in
You're
multivarious dimensions. Like
right.
I have worked with the products side of
Mhm.
this industry, I worked with the services side of the industry, and I have managed diverse clients, also complex clients across uh, different geographic regions, so
Right.
which includes America, Europe, APAC, and all. And I've worked with industries like healthcare, financial
Oh.
institutions, automotive industries, and retail. Yeah.
So, Ankita, when the diversification comes in place, is this all in terms of data privacy, cybersecurity, or have you played various parts of it as per the nature of industry?
No, so I have actually started my career from quality management because, like I said,
Okay.
now I started my
Yeah.
career from a product-based company. So back then, InfoSec was not very prevalent, right? All the companies
Mm.
were focusing on their quality objectives and goals.
Correct.
So I started as a quality manager, and I
Okay.
started with ISO 9001 standard.
Mhm.
Eventually, slowly and steadily, when the organization started getting that no, there is a need of cybersecurity, then I paved my way into that role. And
Okay.
then gradually I ventured into data privacy, and especially when this GDPR was enacted in
Yes.
2018. So then I made my way to data privacy as well. So that's how I, you know,
Oh, this is
I
pretty
started my
interesting.
journey.
I think it's not just about the multiple companies, but I think the experience that you carry since day one into the industry, again with the number of people, the obviously the different systems that you've looked after. I think all of those have also given you a deeper knowledge about the entire ecosystem of cybersecurity.
Yes, yes, I have not switched many jobs. When I say I have worked with multiple companies, it's that I have worked with multiple clients on
Right,
multiple
right,
roles. I have worked with people, who work on the shop floor also, because I was in a product-based company. So in
correct.
those companies, it's very difficult to, let people understand what is the value and importance of
Sure,
information security, data privacy.
right.
So I have worked like from the top management till the bottom level, like everybody I
Wow.
have catered,
No, I think
collaborated with.
this is really great, and we are very fortunate for you to be on our webinar today. Thank you so much again. So I
Thank you
shall
so
we
much.
begin? Because we have few questions we'd like to ask you and discuss with you. So starting heading with it, what do you think is the essence of data privacy and why is it critically a concern in today's digital landscape? Could you hear me? Do I repeat it again?
Well, you have asked me. Yeah. I can hear you. I
Yeah,
can hear you. There was a little bit of, your voice was breaking up in
conjunction.
between, but
I'm so
now I
sorry.
can hear
I'll
you.
I'll just I'll just repeat it once. So what do you think is the entire importance of data privacy, and how is it critical in today's time? Because now that there's such a huge difference in the digital era compared to previously, and it's just on
Hmm.
a growing stage. So how important or critical is data privacy as per you, you think?
Uh, well, critical data privacy is indeed critical for everybody. I would, because there are two questions. It is
Right.
not a single question. Actually, there are two questions to it. Like, what is the essence of data
Mhm.
privacy? You have asked me, and the second question is around the
Yes.
concerns. And actually, it's a very good question. Why I'm saying it is good question, because it will, I think it will, address the confusion which is very pertinent in the mind of individuals. What
Right.
happens is that whenever the word privacy comes,
Mm-hmm.
most of us, we think that security is the best way, like, we secure our personal information and the job is done.
Right.
However, as a privacy expert, I would assertively say that the essence of data privacy, it revolves around the fact that individuals, users, in GDPR we say data subjects, okay,
Right.
and in India we call them as data principals. So basically, the people whose personal information is, they have the control over their personal information. So what is theirs, it is, it is within their command. So they
Right.
have the power, they have the right to choose, like with whom they want to share, with whom they don't want to share, right?
Correct. Right.
So that is the true essence. And
Mm-hmm.
coming back to the second part of your question, which is about concerns in privacy.
Yes.
Now, we all are the generation of Gen Zs and millennials, right?
Right.
So we live in a digital era. You have a mobile phone, you're wearing a smart watch. Most of us have those Google Homes and Alexas at place.
Yes.
So every interaction we make with all these things, right, it generates data.
Okay.
Exactly. If you are browsing any website, what is happening? Cookies are
Right.
being
Cookies.
collecting,
True.
exactly. So you're talking to, I'll give you a very funny example. I have Alexa device at my home. So one day I was sitting and I said, Alexa, can you can I hear some classic short stories? And what Alexa did was, it actually went to my Amazon account and it looked for any classic short story books, and it actually, put that book in my cart, and it
Right.
said, do you want to purchase it? I have already put it in your cart. So see, I
Yeah.
am
Yeah.
here sitting at home just saying, Alexa, I want to hear a story, and Alexa has already
Right.
sent a signal to Amazon that she's interested in this classic story.
True.
Recommend a book and she'll purchase. So
True.
basically, in every interaction, the data is generated, and this
Right.
is the personal data, right? And this
Hmm.
data, basically, what is happening? This data is generating, it is giving the information about us, like our
Correct.
purchasing habits, right, our
Yeah.
location, name, credit card details, everything. So what is happening, this data has a lot of information about ourselves, and in that way, imagine if this information leaks out to somebody else. Now your
Right.
name, first name, okay, there
Right.
might be like hundreds, thousands of Ankitas in India, but
Right.
somebody with my name, my
Hmm.
family name, and then somebody, if they know my date of birth, somebody if they know my passport number, just imagine, a lot of mischiefs can be done. There
Right.
can
Right.
be identity theft, right? That is the first
Correct.
and foremost challenge. You might have heard the cases, when
Yes.
people used to get their SIM cards on anybody else's Aadhaar card,
Yes. 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 And
right?
then you
They used
randomly
to,
keep getting calls and all of those things happen.
exactly. So that is the main and biggest threat of identity
Right.
theft, financial loss. I'll
Right.
I'll give you statistics. The other day I was reading the news and I got to know that from January to April
Okay.
this year, 2024, there were 7,40,000
Yes.
cyber crime frauds reported.
Right.
Okay, and people
This is
have
globally or
lost.
nationally, are you saying?
No, no, no. This is in India. India. I'm
Oh,
just talking about India.
My God.
My focus will be on India, because see, so much is happening in our country. We
Right.
need not to even look at other countries. So this is happening in India.
Right.
And people have lost almost, like, I think 1750 crores
Oh,
it has
wow.
been due. Yeah, the people have been scammed, like so many people. So that is the irony, that
Yeah, that's
financial
true.
losses,
Right.
identity theft. So
Correct.
that is the biggest concern, and the foremost concern is about surveillance.
Ah,
So I'm not sure whether you know, but there were disclosures made by Snowden, that the US is doing surveillance
yes,
on
yes,
everybody.
yes.
Exactly. So
We've heard
that
of the
that
news.
surveillance. Now
Right.
imagine you're sitting in India, or you're sitting at some other country, and all
True.
the major companies, they have their head offices in US, and you are being, the surveillance is
Correct,
being
correct,
done.
correct. No, I
So
think there was
it is.
one major issue that had come in between also. Again, how Instagram currently tries to tackle you. I mean, that one app that is there in your phone is trying
Hmm,
to channelize all your behavior through again whatever processing you're doing it in your phone also.
hmm,
It
hmm.
eventually
So
captures what where you are and everything.
yeah, but it is not only Instagram.
Yeah,
See, today you are in your room and you are sitting with your sibling or your family, and you're talking about anything, that, yeah, I want to, go to
right.
this place. For example, I'm saying that, okay, New Year, I want to celebrate it, and suppose Bhutan. The
Hmm.
next day, you'll see your browser will be bombarded with the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
advertisement. A
Correct.
package for Bhutan, 5-day package. So that is the case, that all, there is no privacy. Even Alexa keeps on hearing you, Siri
Yes,
keeps on
yes, yes.
hearing you. So that is the concern. You are there. This is an invasion to your privacy, right?
Correct.
Sometimes this is a loss of personal freedom.
Hmm.
Sometimes you don't want to disclose things to everybody. We
Right.
people are such that, okay, we'll put it everything on social media. But imagine
Yeah,
your parents or grandparents who are very reserved people. They don't
correct.
want, they don't like this pomp and show. They don't want to spread these details. And these are the
Right,
minutest details. Imagine somebody's medical health condition
right.
is, that comes out.
Mm-hmm.
How it will be
Correct.
so much stressful and anxiety for the people. So
True, true,
yes,
true.
it is
It has
concern.
become as a critical part now in our lives. Now,
Exactly.
concerning, now just over to the next, how I'd go with. Now that these are the major concerns, and say we could say it as a cyber threat that is already something that become a part of our life. How serious is the impact of data privacy breaches on both individual as well as organizations? Because I think majorly organizations are a bigger chunk to grab at it once. Because it becomes very easy for even people to invade organizations privacy first. So how what do you think how serious is the impact of this data privacy breaches?
Well, see, now the impact is on both, right? It is
Right,
on an individual also, whose data is being, circulated, or used, like, stolen or used fraudulently.
right,
Also, the impact is on the organization also. Now,
correct,
I'll tell you, for individuals, like we discussed, hai na,
correct.
that there is identity theft,
Hmm.
there is financial losses. There is
Right.
one more aspect which I want to talk.
Okay.
Under GDPR has specifically defined vulnerable people. Now, what is a
Hmm.
vulnerable section? So, vulnerable people are those who may not have the capacity to fully understand or advocate for their rights.
Okay.
For example, children. Okay,
Yes.
children are small. They don't have that understanding, right? They lack understanding. They don't understand, okay, their pictures are being circulated online, or something happens. Or maybe the elderly people, or
Hmm.
people with disabilities, right? And when
Right.
I say disabilities, it can be mental or physical disability.
Okay.
Then the people with some health conditions, right?
Okay.
People with some chronic diseases. So many a times, such were the cases where, some patients medical data got
Right.
leaked, and the other day they are bombarded with health insurance companies. The
Hmm.
companies are coming to them and telling them, okay, sir, please take our
Right.
insurance, we'll give you for this disease. So imagine the medical condition of, I mean, the mental condition of that person,
Correct,
that
correct.
they're already suffering from a disease and somebody's advertising their product or
Right,
service to
right.
them. Exactly. And
Correct.
it can be minorities also in some cases, ethnic minorities, asylum seeker or refugees, those people who actually are, moving to other countries to seek refuge. So
Right, right.
these are all vulnerable sections of people.
Okay.
And what happens is when their personal information, gets breached, it is not the tangible part, but the intangible things also happen, like stress, anxiety. Some people also anxiously, they want to do some physical harm to themselves so that to
Right, right.
evade that,
True, true,
public
true.
humiliation or something. So
Correct.
it is very concerning, very, very concerning.
Right.
And organizations, stakes are equally high. Now, like I said, data is the oil of 21st century.
Yes,
This is like naysayers
yes,
say
yes.
that. So all the organizations, be it a product-based company, be it a services company, everybody relies on data,
Correct.
right? And data has personal data also. Now what happens is when an organization collects somebody's personal data, the onus lies on the organization to safeguard it, to ensure
Ah,
that the data
right.
is being used as per the stated purpose and all. And when organization, some breach happens from organization side, so what happens essentially? Number one, there are hefty fines, hefty penalties.
Right.
So these penalties are there. So obviously they're subjected to the
Correct.
penalties. Number two, not only the penalties, but number two is that, for example, if there is a breach, for example,
Right.
and a company gets to know, so they have to exactly, do a root cause analysis, find out the breach.
Mm,
Then they have to investigate the breach, right?
correct.
And sometimes they may have to shut down some portion of their operation to contain
My
the
gosh.
breach.
Right.
So yeah, so
Of course.
obviously there's a waste of money. Third thing is damage to the reputation, which is
Right.
extreme. You can earn money, right? You can bring business back and this thing,
Right,
but
right.
trust once
Name.
gone, very hard,
True,
very
true.
hard. I'll tell you a case. Uh, there are numerous cases, but in a very famous hotel chain industry,
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a breach in 2014. Okay,
Okay.
and I think they got to know about it in 2018. They got to know. Okay,
After
so
four
when
years.
after 4 years, yeah, after 4 years, the company got to know that there was a breach.
Wow.
And you know what? The data of almost 300 million guests. Imagine 300 million guests, their phone numbers, their passport numbers, date of birth, name, everything was leaked.
Great. Obviously.
Credit
My
card
God.
numbers, because it's a
Mm,
famous
yeah,
hotel
yeah,
chain.
right.
Every day, a lot of people, and it has a global presence, right? So understand, imagine from their database, the
Right.
hackers have taken that, right?
No,
Now,
now, so sorry, just
obviously,
in,
they were. Hmm,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
No, no, please continue. You're saying something.
So I was saying that they were fined. Obviously, they were fined. Second thing is they had then thereafter they set up technological,
Hmm.
organizational strong controls, IT infra and all, everything they did. But what happened in 2019 when I think the customer survey, it dropped drastically for that hotel chain industry. Why?
Okay.
Because people were
Yeah.
scared that yeah,
The
our
trust
data
is
is
gone
lost.
now. Correct.
Yes, so that's
But
the case.
do we know the cause for this breach that happened? Was it a human error or how?
No, actually, as far as I know, it was that this hotel chain industry had acquired a smaller, hotel chain and something. So this they probably did not perform the due diligence of their IT
Ah, right,
infrastructure.
right.
So that is also the case. See, problem is that even if you are acquiring a company, if
Yes.
the breach occurs there, but ultimately you are the owner. So
Correct. You've got to.
yeah,
Do you remember how recently we also had this Microsoft shutdown? And after a few days,
yes,
we had it
yes.
in the news that. So, do you also think that this was a very big data breach attempt?
Of course, I mean, I mean, I think flights were I mean, every
Yeah,
sector was disrupted.
everything was shut.
Microsoft in itself is a very big organization, right?
Correct.
And they not only cater to a particular segment, right? They have a
Hmm.
global outreach. They
Correct.
cater to so many organizations. They cater to so many sectors. Simple
Right.
example, like delay in flight.
Of
Now
course.
imagine if somebody is going on for a very important business meeting and
Correct.
his
Correct.
flight is delayed and all that. So small impacts, but
Oh,
lots of lots of issues
issues. Correct.
happened. Yeah.
Correct.
So
No.
that's a domino effect. Now,
Hmm.
one small thing happened with Microsoft, and the domino effect was there. All the
Correct.
industries
Right. 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 Everything
came
went
to a
for.
standstill.
Yeah. Exactly. So, concerning the same part, what do you think from your perspective? The does data privacy mean for an individual? Say maybe in terms of controlling their personal information, or say for an organization in terms of ethical data handling. What kind of terms are there to control these kind of things?
Uh, for Actually, I already told you that data privacy is obviously,
Mm-hmm.
for an individual, it is to have control over their data, right?
Correct.
So
Right.
they have this, what do we call it? They have this choice. They have
Mm-hmm.
the control on their information. So what happens is that all almost all the countries which are coming up with their privacy laws, they have actually emancipated the individuals with some rights, that you have this right. So for
Correct.
example, if I talk about GDPR, let us
Right.
suppose, why I'm quoting GDPR again and again is the reason, because it was a very good law. I can say it formed the cornerstone of all the laws which eventually developed.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so there are some rights which they have given to the individual. For example, the individual has they have the right to know about their data, like who is collecting it,
Right.
where it is being stored, are there
Correct.
any cross border transfers, are you sharing your individual's data with somebody else. So they want to know anything. Okay, are you deleting my data? Do you have
Right.
am I accurate data? If not, correct it.
Hmm.
Also the individuals have right that once, for example, they gave the consent, okay,
Correct.
for any particular
Yes.
thing,
Yes.
that okay, you process my information.
Right.
In case they want, they can object to the processing of data, they can withdraw their consent. So GDPR actually gave them that power, and that power is also still with the individuals. So all the jurisdictions, all the
Hmm.
geographies which are coming up with their laws, they're actually providing these rights, so that that people are not just passive subjects of data
Right.
collection, but they're active participants.
Correct. Of
They
course.
have, they can take informed decisions about
True.
their data. It's not just they are like puppets only. No,
We've
they have
actually seen one research where almost 95% of breaches or cyber crimes or cyber any kind of attacks that have happened is through a smallest human error. Maybe if you've just logged into a different account or a different device, or maybe in an organization you have used a different browser all in together. So we've heard a lot of these parts in terms of data privacy also. I mean, huge breaches have happened through this. So as you mentioned that there are these number of laws. I mean, I'm going against our questionnaire, but as you mentioned that
Hmm,
these are the laws that even every government is following. But
hmm.
do you think we have the right awareness till now, till all of our, as you mentioned, that I have the right to sue the person who's asking for my data, or maybe I can question them. At what level would I be able to do it? How do you think is the essence of or the impact of this entire right that every individual have for this?
Okay. If Because awareness is a topic, there can
Right.
be multiple sessions onto it.
Okay.
Because what happens is that uh, in our country we have people who are aware,
Okay.
right,
Yeah.
and informed. Number two,
Right.
people who are aware and informed, but they are like, okay, chalta hai types, that
Yes.
we don't care much. And third type is who are unaware and they're happy in their cocoon. Now,
Correct.
what happens is, I'll give you a very practical example in Indian scenario itself.
Okay.
That, for example, you go to a bank, you
Mm-hmm.
want to open a, let us suppose, savings account.
Okay.
Okay. You go to a bank and you tell them that I have come and my purpose of visit is I want to open a savings account with you.
Okay.
Obviously, they'll ask you about your details like your ID proof, your address proof, and everything, and they'll open
Mm-hmm.
the account.
Right.
Now, ideally, the purpose here is what? Opening a savings
Right.
bank account. Okay.
Correct.
The next day, what will happen is that the credit card department of the same bank will call you, ma'am,
Okay.
calling from this bank, and would you be interested in our credit card services?
Right.
Now, as a user, what you are going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people will
Right.
ignore the call, right?
Right.
Some people will say that I may be interested, I am interested, okay, tell me about your services. But there will be
Okay.
a third section, which is very hard to find in India, who will firstly question, how did you get my details?
Right.
We
True.
will go back to bank and say that, see, my purpose of visit was to open a savings account.
Right.
Why did you share my number, even though it is in your, it's a different branch of your own bank, but why did you share my number without my knowledge, without my permission to your
Mm-hmm.
credit card team,
True.
right? Did
Right.
you ask me for my permission before sharing it?
True.
Which you didn't.
Right.
So whenever you are marketing your product, you are, you want to sell other services, you need to ask me first that
Hmm.
whether I'll be comfortable. If yes, I'll be comfortable, I'll opt in for the service, and that's fine.
Right.
So that is the case. That is the case of awareness. So what happens is that India also slowly, steadily, obviously things are changing. I'm not
Correct.
saying that people are 100% unaware. No, things are changing. But
Right.
we actually need to pull up our socks because an informed person, see, laws give you the rights.
Correct.
But what if you don't know what is my right, how to
Yeah.
exercise it?
Right.
What is
Right.
the meaning of that, right? So
Exactly.
if you don't know, okay, I can, if you don't know that I have a right to know about my information, I have the right to rectify my information. I have the
Hmm.
right to tell that, I have the right to object to
Correct.
processing of my information. If you don't know, obviously nobody is going to come, organizations will not come to you and say, sir, you have this right, even
Right.
though they should ideally put everything in their privacy policy. They should actually give a privacy notice to the users, where they should inform them that how their data is being collected, why it is
Hmm.
being collected, what is the purpose, with whom it is being shared, and everything they should tell. But
Right. Right.
who does that? Proactively, nobody does that.
Nobody. I think private sector did try it on a vast level, but again, the simplification or maybe they couldn't crack the code. I mean, I look at HDFC's entire progress, not only HDFC, but all the banking sector that you will see. They're trying the level best to make sure individual like us layman people understand what exactly this is. But again, the connectivity is very less. Now is where we know that we are not supposed to click on links. No unknown links are supposed to be clicked. But yet, I think a
I'll,
longer journey.
I'll tell you, basically, the multinational companies, they're doing it because obviously of, I said, heavy penalties, damage of the reputation and all. In
Right.
other countries, it is happening. When GDPR came out, you won't believe there were road shows.
Mm-hmm.
There were road shows, and there was like vast awareness drives were going on. Now in India also, why these organizations have started, they've started taking these initiatives because last year August,
Mm-hmm.
DPDPA, which is Digital Personal Data
Person.
Protection Act of India, it was passed. So
Right.
our passed in both the houses, and then our president eventually passed it. Now the act has not been enacted yet, which means it has not
Mm.
been implemented yet.
Right.
But the grapevine is that maybe by end of this year, it may happen. And there are also very heavy fines. There are like fines up to 250 crores or something.
Oh my God.
Now, yeah, so imagine an organization, they'll nobody wants to pay so much. And then
Of
secondly,
course.
it will become a news,
News. Yeah,
like
yeah. The
it will grab the
reputation that
media
you mentioned.
eyeballs.
Correct, correct.
Yeah, it will grab the media eyeballs. And imagine, for example, you there's a credit card company or any bank, okay, and they lose
Correct.
your information. For
Yeah.
example, your account number and all those details are compromised. Will you be able to trust that bank again?
Hmm.
Never.
Never. Of
Never.
course. Yeah, yeah.
And what you will do, you'll tell your kith and kins, hey, don't
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. I faced this kind of industry.
yeah, yeah, stay away from that bank. I had my account there, and all my details were leaked, and there were this fraud and that fraud. So bad news spreads
True.
like a wildfire, right?
True, true, true. That's 100%. Now, so considering our entire discussion and looking ahead, what do you think are the trends and challenges that you would foresee in the field of data privacy? Now that you know already what has been happening, but what do you feel would come eventually now in the domain of data privacy?
Data privacy, I'll tell you, a lot of things are coming in picture. Like there are privacy enhancement technologies, which is pets is coming, a lot of things. But I would particularly want to focus on something which you might have also heard, buzzword, which is AI. So AI is artificial intelligence, we all know, right?
Correct.
Now imagine, like 2 3 years back, was there any chat GPT? No. Was there
Nothing.
any Copilot or Gemini? No.
No, no, no.
How has it revolutionized everything?
Hmm.
Now see, any, you go to LinkedIn, for example, you
Yeah.
you can write any post by with the help of AI.
Hmm.
So these are, as a user, I'm telling you, small things. Now in companies, in organizations, there are many AI tools, AI driven analytics, which offer the powerful tools for the businesses. And it rightly
Right.
so, obviously business has to do that, right?
Correct.
But what AI does is that AI relies on the large data sets.
Okay.
Okay. So
Hmm.
now this data not only constitutes like normal data, it has the personal information also.
Correct.
So,
True.
what happens is that the organizations need to ensure that whatever AI systems they are using, the
Hmm.
data, whatever they are using, the logic which they are using, the algorithm which they are using is not biased. It is explainable. It's transparent. You understand that it is. In tandem with the privacy core principles,
Right.
because the core principle of privacy is, of course, the individual, the power of
Right.
individual,
True.
that
True. True.
they should be the topmost priority. um, uh, like I was saying, that the many laws are coming up.
Yes.
Recently EUAI Act has
Yeah.
passed, and
We heard that.
there are many companies who are in this race of quickly drafting their AI acts and releasing. Many companies have already, many countries have already done that. So the next thing, because see, we live in an era where technological advancements are happening, right?
True.
Every day there is
Right.
a new technology coming up, replacing other. So
Right.
every day there is a technological advancement, and because of that, there are regulatory changes,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
And there is growing consumer awareness also. Like I said,
Correct.
that in
Yes. Yes.
4 months
Yes.
in India itself, yeah,
True.
in
No.
4 months in India itself, 740,000 complaints were registered. So people are becoming aware.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, three factors: one is technological advancements, second is regulatory changes, and third is growing consumer awareness.
Hmm.
So, the field of privacy will be shaped by all these three things. This is what
Okay.
I feel. And so organizations need to be proactive, not reactive. They need to be vigilant. Like what is
Yes.
happening in terms of technology, what is
Correct.
happening, in terms of regulatory changes. Okay, this country is doing this country is doing this, because multinational companies, obviously, you have
Correct.
business spread across different geographies, and there you have to follow the land of law. And not only that, these laws which are coming out now, they have this extraterritorial scope, which does not mean that they're confined to a geography. if
Correct.
if you are in India, and
Mm.
you are giving goods or services to European Union citizens, right?
Yes.
Residents, sorry. Then
Yeah.
you have to comply with GDPR. It is not like, कि, bhai,
Mm.
I'm in India and I am staying here.
Still, yeah.
The law will apply to you.
Okay.
So that is the main thing.
So do you think we are on the same step now? Say maybe as you yourself has read, we have been registered under these many thousand attacks in this year.
Mhm.
Do you think our awareness and our threat cycle is working hand in hand? I mean, is it on the same bar, or do you think we have a scale up and down?
Well, I have no statistics to,
On a
to
personal
comment on this.
opinion, what do you think?
See, what happens is that when last year the news of
Mm.
this thing came, and also a lot of news channels actually, particularly, they make it a point to cover such stories more and
Right.
more.
So as you were mentioning about how the news channels are focusing on these kind of details, we were talking about the awareness and the threat step that is happening.
Yeah, they are focusing and they're not using very technical jargons, because the point is, yeah, people are like from
Mm.
all aspects of society, so they won't be understanding those heavy words. So the
Right.
news channels, what they are doing, they are trying to drill it down. And believe me, a lot of people actually, they are, in experience also speaks. So a lot of people who are experiences such things, they are also spreading the word of mouth. You might have heard
Right.
that there was one case, I'll tell you particularly, the Chief Justice of India, D.Y.
Yes.
Chandrachud. So one lawyer got a message from D.Y. Chandrachud that I need rupees 500 for the cab. I have, today
Yes.
I'll reach the Supreme
Yeah.
Court and I booked a cab, and you give me, this is the link and I'll repay you. So what that lawyer did was, obviously he was a very prominent lawyer. So he took that snapshot, he posted it on Twitter or something. It became instantly viral because the
Mm.
fraudster, what he had done was, he had taken the picture of DY Chandrachud on this social media and something, no, from easily available internet.
Right. Right.
So he
Right.
had taken that picture, he had created a fake profile, and
Mm.
he wanted to dupe the lawyer. Now when Supreme Court authorities got to know about this, like, this was very shocking, that the
Yeah.
chief
Yeah.
justice of India, why would he say for 500 rupees? And then they actually, on behest of DY Chandrachud, actually launched a cyber crime, cyber fraud this thing, report with the local police station. So the
My God.
point is, when this happened with this lawyer, he did not keep it confined with him. He
Correct.
actually,
He actually
posted it
opened
on a
up.
public media, and then obviously, because it involved Supreme Court's Chief Justice, so
Right.
obviously it became very viral. So people are sharing experiences. News channels, media is playing a role. We are also, like, as privacy professionals, not only at home, but many a times we educate in schools, in colleges,
Right.
and we try to tell children that, you also inform your families and
Correct.
parents,
Correct.
and especially elderly people who are like
True.
very who trust everybody. So that's how it is, percolating down. So it will take some time, but slowly it is bringing down. Organizations are they are carrying out those drives for their own
Yeah.
employees. They
Correct.
want their employees to be informed, their vendors to be informed,
Correct.
even their staff, security staff, everybody, like top to bottom, they are awareing everybody. So
Right.
this is happening.
No, actually, at Invicta, we do the same thing. We are actually not building platforms, but we are making sure that we are training humans so well that there's no question of any error that happens. That's the reason I had that question. That do you think the same statistic that says 95% of human is causing the entire problem? Do you also feel the same? Because we're trying to make sure that we are avoiding these kind of things. We are training organizations moreover, because I think that is the first step, because it's a forceful step that happens. Individuals are pretty, what do you say, contradictive and interactive when it comes to these terms. But we are making sure that we are building a community that is pretty cyber secure at least.
That's actually nice. That's actually
Yes.
good. Nice
So,
initiative.
yes, Ankita, thank you so much. I think this has been a real interesting session that we've had. We've understood a lot of detailing on a real layman terms, because I think our audience need to hear these kind of explanations with examples that come out for them to know what exactly is happening as well. So thank you very much, and we hope to talk to you really soon again.
Thank you. The privilege is all mine. And I'm very happy that, through this conversation, I could reach out to masses. I could explain
Definitely.
in a very, very layman language without any jargons, give them an idea of what is
Yes,
privacy, what are their rights, and, give them some examples of what is happening across. So I'm
correct.
equally very happy. Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much. Thank you.